Child's Play 3 begins with workers cleaning up the abandoned Play Pals factory when they manage to mix Chucky's blood into a vat of good guy juice. And is it weird that I'm craving a milkshake right now? It's weird, isn't it? I mean, it is the melted leavings of a serial killer doll, so it's weird. Alright, I made it weird. After countless lawsuits and coming back from the brink of bankruptcy, the Play Pals board of directors, under the watchful eye of the evil Mr. Sullivan, decide to begin production on their only big success, the Good Guy doll. They're like the Al Bundy of toy manufacturers. But if you look at the other products in the Play Pals line, the Good Guy dolls were really all they had. Whoa, a jar of marbles? Kids will go cuckoo bananas for those. It's also worth noting that this movie seems to suggest that the world knows that their product gained sentience and horribly murdered several people. I mean, any other toy, some kid chokes on a piece of it and you'll never see that toy again.
If there's nothing I can say to convince you that I must go on record with my position, I'm completely against this.
If you wanted it on the record, Miles, then you should have said so during the meeting. Janet records the minutes, and look, Janet is gone. This is an empty gesture from a sad, pathetic little man. They give Chucky to Mr. Sullivan as a gift, and Chucky promptly murders him, and this movie shows that Don Mancini finally realized that Chucky didn't have enough catchphrases.
Don't with the Chuck.
I imagine guys named Chuck were just unbearable to be around after this movie came out. I mean, more unbearable than guys named Chuck usually are. Ho-ho! Just kidding, guys named Chuck. You know, I'm not really sure why Chucky would even want to kill Mr. Sullivan. I mean, Sullivan's greed and worship of the bottom line is the only reason Chucky's even able to keep coming back. If Chucky's not careful, he's only going to get like 3 or 4 more chances to exact his revenge. Chucky needs Andy again so he can transfer his soul into him again before he's trapped as the doll forever. Again. It's a good thing these movies are enjoyable, otherwise I might have an issue with this. But of course, Chucky's forgetting the first step towards taking over someone's soul.
You want the baby boy's hole, you gotta pay the troll toll. You gotta pay the troll toll to get in.
We find that Andy has been sent to Kent Military School and that his mom is still under psychiatric care.
When I was a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things.
Is that from a Phil Collins song?
1 Corinthians.
No, Phil Collins' band name was Genesis. Alright, not to toot my own horn, but that was a very good joke. Andy's first assignment is to visit the military barber who is very dedicated to his work.
Yes. Oh.
He also loves to spout haircutting trivia.
You know, the Romans invented the military cut.
Why?
Keep their hair short.
Now, I'll give the Romans credit for a lot of things, but cutting their hair so it's short is not one of them. So Andy's squadron? I'm sorry, I don't know much about the military. Anyways, Andy's little improv group is led by resident sociopath Lieutenant Colonel Brett Shelton. He's such a hard ass that he forces other cadets to shine his tap shoes, but they are like really nice tap shoes. Not everyone at this school sucks, and Andy befriends Whitehurst, De Silva, and Tyler, who must be a legacy because he gets to do pretty much whatever he wants. The mailroom gives Tyler a package to deliver to Andy, and Tyler proceeds to Ace Ventura the shit out of it.
Hey, look out!
The package contains Chucky, and Tyler just decides to keep it for himself. Chucky, upon realizing that he has a new body, decides that he can retell Tyler who he really is and just steal Tyler's soul. Now, I don't think that this should work, but I once tried to cook Easy Mac without putting water in it first, so you really don't have to listen to a word I say. Chucky tries to steal Tyler's soul but gets interrupted by Colonel Cochran, and that is probably the most awkward way to get caught with a doll.
What are you doing, Tyler?
We're playing hide the soul.
Oh, Jesus, Tyler, that doesn't make it sound any better.
We don't play with dolls, do we now, Tyler? Dolls are for girls.
Well, actually, the Good Guy doll is specifically marketed towards boys, so you sound a little dumb. So while Andy's team is practicing their choreography for, like, a parade or something, Andy sees Chucky for the first time in 8 years.
A soldier's rifle is his best friend.
My best friend is my landlord, Lugash. We have a real dynamic duo type of friendship. I'm all like, Lugash, you son of a bitch, how they hanging, low and lazy? And he'll fire back, the other tenants are complaining that you're pooping in the flower bed out front. F***ing stop doing that. And so on and so forth. He's a real nut. I really value his friendship. So Cochran throws Chucky away and he immediately gets dumped into a garbage truck, and he screams for help, so the garbage man goes back to help whomever is in the trash. Now, I understand that Chucky is a remorseless killer and he's killed numerous people that did not deserve to die, but this one doesn't sit well with me.
Yo, stop making noise! Where are you?
I mean, that dude was legitimately concerned for your safety. Not cool, man. Not cool. Chucky goes after Andy to get him out of the way so he doesn't mess up his plan to take over Tyler's body. But Andy gets the upper hand and starts beating Chucky and oh no. I thought Cochran was bad, but no, that is literally the worst person to walk in on you wrestling a doll alone in your room. And at this point, I wouldn't be as worried about Chucky as I would be about what Shelton's gonna tell everybody. Because the Sheltons of the world always tell everybody. Shelton takes the doll and gives Andy 5 demerits. And without looking it up, I'm just going to say that demerits are like sunshine points at my old elementary school. And if you lost too many sunshine points, then you couldn't participate in the year-end assembly in the church basement. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing in the military. Now, Chucky usually has a hard time anyways trying to steal people's souls, but he definitely has met his match with Tyler.
Charles! Come and find me.
Jesus, are we sure Tyler isn't a serial killer? So Tyler lures Chucky into Cochran's office, and if he wasn't a psychotic killer doll, I would be very concerned for Chucky's safety right now. Colonel Cochran comes back to his office and finds Chucky, and then Cochran dies of a heart attack. And at lunch the next day, Sergeant Botnick schedules upcoming haircuts with a white-hot intensity that is usually reserved for literally anything else besides giving haircuts.
I'm pretty shaggy, Carlson. I want to see you on Friday.
Yes, Sergeant.
Monday, Fabrizio.
Yes, sir.
He has a lot of misplaced confidence.
You're a disgrace. When's the last time you had a trim?
Now, come on, your hair is basically the same length, dude.
Wednesday.
Oh man, you do not want to get cornered by Botnick at a party. Man, between cadets playing hide and seek with a doll and a sergeant obsessing over human hair, I think Kent Military Academy is just a breeding ground for budding killers. Andy tries to warn Tyler, who was playing a video game at lunch. How is that allowed? And also, it's a military school. How are you allowed to have any kind of electronics? Especially electronics that look like they take about 12 D batteries. He tries to warn him, but Tyler is extremely stubborn and refuses to believe Andy that Chucky is bad.
You're just jealous because he's my best friend now instead of yours.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm glad you brought that up because I feel now is a good time to remind you that you stole that doll. So Botnick finds Chucky in his barber shop and...
That haircut ain't regulation, soldier.
Seriously. I would suggest he find a hobby, but he's gonna die in like 2 seconds anyways. But at least he died doing what he loves. Being weird about hair. Whitehurst walks in and sees that Chucky is alive, and really, Chucky just makes things so much more difficult for himself. So Kent Military School is gearing up for their big war recital, and they put paint pellets in the guns for their war pageant, but Chucky replaces them with live rounds because Chucky is chaotic evil. And also a bit of a dick. Chucky is really trying to ramp up the body count in this one, and I am all for it. Still not cool about the garbage man, though.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Same old stuff again. Same old stuff again.
Oh, so it's a musical military pageant. Kind of like Bye Bye Birdie or Miss Saigon. That should be fun. Andy steals Shelton's Marauders map. I mean, I guess I could have just gotten away with calling it a map. So stupid. He uses it to look for Tyler so he can try to warn him again about Chucky, and Shelton leads the entire horde to go look for him. Chucky takes Tyler into the woods, and Tyler finally realizes that this foul-mouthed doll holding a knife might not be a good guy. I've never understood kids in movies that are just nonchalant about dolls coming to life. Like, I was terrified of everything when I was little, and a doll that kept telling me to shut the f*** up would definitely put me on edge. So the red and blue teams both show up at Chucky's position, and all heck breaks loose. Shelton gets murdered by the red team, and Chucky throws a grenade that Whitehurst jumps on to save everybody, and Jesus, this military theater camp is heavy. Tyler runs to an amusement park and seeks help from a security guard, and of course this security guard found Chucky already and is super excited about it. I mean, I guess I can't fault him there. Like, if I found a My Pet Monster at the fair, I'd probably be pretty stoked. I mean, I would Lysol the ever-living out of it, but I'd be stoked. Andy and De Silva follow Chucky into a haunted minecart ride, and I'm not gonna lie, the best part of Child's Play movies is watching Chucky just get royally effed up. And that's just from a purely watching an evil doll get what's coming to him kind of way. Not in some, like, weird sexual way. Like, I'm sure these movies probably tick a lot of boxes in some pervert's doll body horror fetish, but that's not where I'm coming from. Now that I over-explained something that no one was really thinking about, let's move on.
Take Dewey Dembella. S'accusate a me pois de mort. Give me the power I beg of you! Say Dembella! Say Dembella!
And how long does this spell take? And the first time he did it, he got it right away. And how big is the inside of this ride? Like, some carny really went the extra mile to set this thing up. Andy shoots Chucky as he's trying to take over Tyler's body. He knocks him into a fan, and Chucky gets the Jaws the Revenge treatment. So Chucky's dead, and Andy gets arrested, and without checking the internet, I'm gonna say that we never have to worry about Chucky ever again. So now wait a minute. Chucky's blood infects the whole batch of good guy juice, and somehow the soul of Charles Lee Ray manages to come back in just a single good guy doll. Does this centuries-old voodoo curse know the ins and outs of doll manufacturing? Even if this would work, and nothing we've been told about this curse says that it should, then shouldn't the soul of Charles Lee Ray have infected the entire batch, so that instead of just one Chucky, Andy has to stop hundreds of Chuckies, all of whom are trying to inhabit different bodies? And when the army of Chuckies finally descend on the academy, Andy and the rest of the recruits, even Shelton, have to band together and wipe them all out? I gotta say, I would watch the hell out of that Child's Play. And also, I would keep the garbage man alive. I mean, poor guy. Name's probably Randy. Probably collects model trains. Poor bastard.